Jesse Hubbard, welcome.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Congratulations. You've done it again. Punk Rock and Cocktails, Volume 2. Now, what possessed you to do this again? I imagine it was a ton of work the first time around.
You know, it was, but it was rewarding, and it was a really fun kind of experience going through the process of figuring out what I sounded like as a writer. You know what I mean? And I kind of got hooked on it, and I wanted to do it again. It's a ton of work, but it's one of the best things that I think I've ever done. Like, I'm just so proud of it.
Oh, well, you should be, and it's the shape of an LP as well. You can put it with your records if you want.
I knew you would appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. So for the uninitiated, when did Volume 1 come out?
Probably about 2 years ago, just slightly over 2 years ago.
Yeah, because time is so...
It doesn't seem like it's been that long, does
no,
it? No,
things either seem like they were 20 years ago or last month. There's no in between. You know what I mean?
I figure the older I get, the more I understand that. Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, what's the concept?
So I picked 20 of my favorite albums that are punk rock or punk adjacent, if you will, and I write a little personal story about it. Something, maybe I have a connection to the band, or maybe I have a fun experience seeing them in concert, or something of that nature. And I write a little bit about that. And, the sort of thing that less band bio, more this is why I love this band and this is why they affected me in such a great way. And then I create some version of an original cocktail. Maybe it's a riff on something else that exists. Maybe it's a brand new thing that nobody's done before, kind of inspired by that band and that album. And, I like to create that cocktail to represent how that band, how that album kind of makes me feel when I listen to the music.
So how involved are the artists?
They're pretty involved. Well, in some capacity, I reached out to everybody in the book, either the artist directly or a band member, record label, or management. So somebody from every one of those camps signed off on this. It's a pretty interesting process. Whenever you can't get through and you really want somebody in that book to kind of like, all right, that was a dead end. Let me try this avenue. And sometimes it really works out that way.
Do you get a lot of pushback when they finally are presented with the concept?
Everybody was really excited about it and thought it was kind of a cool, unique concept. There was only one person ever that declined, and I totally understand why, and that was because they don't drink alcohol, and I respect that 100%. But everybody was really into it, which is awesome.
So the Pixies were just here last night.
Yeah.
That had to be a hard one because they're a little hard to. Frank Black's a little hard to read. I've interviewed him before.
I didn't know anybody in that group. That was just a cold call, if you will. So that was one that was probably the hardest, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Did they approve it? Did they try it?
They haven't tried it. No, I mean, a lot of times what I hope is, and it happened with the first one, a lot of the musicians will, I'll send them a copy of the book after, just as a thank you, and they'll get back to me and, like, hey, I'm making the cocktail at home.
Nice.
Like, sometimes they'll reach out, like, what do you recommend for this specific ingredient? Like, is it this or this? I'm like, that's like the best. That's the coolest.
Oh, yeah. Who's done that?
Corey Brannon did it on the first one, Frank Turner, some of the guys from the Menzingers. Really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. One of the Tom from the Menzingers actually made a video of him making the cocktail and posted it on all their social media, which is like the coolest thing ever, I thought.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jesse Hubbard is here, bartender to the stars, Volume 2 of Punk Rock and Cocktails. I see you have the Misfits in here. That had to be interesting. Glenn Danzig, of course, if you're not familiar, his punk rock band that he's on again, off again.
Yeah. This is the 90s iteration of the band that I included in there because that was my introduction to the band.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to Jerry or Glenn, no, but I talked to some of their guys in the band, and they thought it was a cool idea and said, well, let's do it. We'll make it happen. Yeah. So I was surprised that I got anywhere with that because,
absolutely,
sometimes that can be a tough one, but I was really happy about that.
Maybe the easiest one, Two Cow Garage, right?
Those guys are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Columbus, Ohio, the Two Cow Cocktail. 2 ounces of, how do you say that? Añejo tequila?
It's añejo. It's like
añejo.
Aged tequila. Yeah.
Apple cinnamon syrup, dash of orange bitters, and a dash of, how do you say that? Angostura bitters.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Did?
Yeah.
Boy, it shows you what I know. Not much. I wouldn't be much help. Well, this is wonderful. So great.
Thanks, Brian.
It's such a fun book that I would imagine that this would be great to pull out some records, hopefully that are in the book, and you gather your friends around and you get the book out and go, okay, let's listen to the record and let's make the cocktails. It's like almost like a board game.
That's exactly what I want it to be.
Yeah.
That's so cool that you see it that way, because that's my vision, a social gathering around like this experience. Absolutely. Almost like a board game. Yeah, I love that. I'm going to use it. Can I use that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do the Punk Rock Cocktails board game. Roll the dice. Yeah, we'll have to get to work on that. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for being here. We're going to go upstairs to the big room bar here in a few moments, and you're going to make us a cocktail that we'll put on our social media to kind of get the juices jangling, so to speak.
I love it.
And then I want people to go grab the book. Where can we find it?
So you can order it on strussellproductions.com. It's strussellproductions.com. And that's anywhere in the U.S. Overseas, Amazon is the way to go for that as well. And pretty soon it's going to be in some stores.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So the last time we talked, when Volume 1 came out and we did a piece, you were working at an establishment, and now you're out on your own. Tell me about your operation here.
Yeah, so it's St. Russell Productions is the name of the operation. Named that company after my father, after his passing, in honor of him, and it's a way to essentially gather people around for these social events. It's music and cocktail or spirit related, and I do everything from events that everybody can come to and buy a ticket, or sometimes they're free events, or I do private events. It's so rewarding, and I'm busier than I've ever been, but it's a beautiful thing, and every time I do one of these things, I continue to celebrate my father's legacy and share his story. So I think it's a really cool thing.
That's beautiful. So I imagine it's kind of like a show, right? Say it's somebody's 40th birthday party, and somebody wants to do something special for them. That's exactly what this is all about.
It's that I can do that. Curated events, and sometimes I'm booking shows and I'm promoting shows like concerts, and I do a lot of it here in Columbus, but I'm from the East Coast originally, so I go back there and do a lot of stuff as well.
That's great.
Hey, if you're out there and you want me, let me know. I'll make it happen.
Same website for the book?
Yep.
StLawrenceProductions.com.
St. Russell Productions.
St. Russell. I'm sorry. Russell. I'm thinking of the St. Lawrence River for some reason.
No worries. St. Russell Productions.
Okay. It's hard to come up with unique ideas for a gathering. Everything's been done, but this is truly unique. You can bring the book with you and fire into that if people are like real music heads, but otherwise you can do just about anything.
Yeah, you go two different ways with it. We did the book release a couple weeks ago, and that was awesome. This past spring, we did a Girl Scout cookie and cocktail pairing thing, which was really fun. So sometimes there are things that you've seen, but sometimes we try to bring in things, and like that maybe you haven't seen before, a unique experience.
Outstanding. Well, Jess, thank you for being here. The book is Punk Rock and Cocktails, Volume 2. Is Volume 1 still available?
Yeah, you can get it through the same website.
Okay, good, because sometimes books go out of print.
As long as people keep buying them, I'll keep printing them.
Outstanding. All right, well, let's head upstairs and you'll do a demo for us.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We're doing something fun here. This is a rum blend, what's called an infinity bottle. A collection of different rums that I've had over the last couple years. When the bottle gets a little close to the end, you put it in, you marry them all, and it's aged white rum, all kinds of different rums in here together. So we're going to do 2 ounces of that.
You don't have to measure? Are there lines on that?
There are no lines, Brian.
Wow.
I'm free pouring here.
So what's that?
A dark brown sugar syrup that I made.
And you made that too?
I made that too.
How do you make that?
1.5 to 1 ratio of the dark brown sugar to like boiling water, simmer it, and bring it down to like a real syrupy consistency on the stove. Cool it. Piece of cake. And this is something a little different. A blend of toasted almond bitters and some spiced orange bitters as well. I thought to make it a little bit different for this experience.
I love almonds.
Yeah. Smell it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a wonderful aroma.
I'm glad you said that and you weren't allergic.
I think I'm okay.
I almost did that one time with somebody. I'm like, smell this. They're like, is that almond? They're like, yeah, I'm allergic. Oh, sorry.
No.
Okay, we're going to ice it down.
Brought his own ice. Is this artisanal ice?
This is crushed ice. It's not necessarily artisanal. I like inconsistently random shaped rocks.
It's not uniform.
Yeah.
I think that makes it more attractive and more handmade. What do you call that thing?
Just like a bar spoon.
You need to give it a fancy name. Call it the Frank Turner.
Okay.
Why don't we just dump the ice that's in here in there with more ice?
It will be too diluted and watered down and already start the melting process. So you want like kind of the fresh ice to pour over top of it.
Gotcha. garnished with a little orange.
There we go. Makings of a champion.
Well, listen, I have to go back and be on the air more, so I'm going to be very disciplined. I'm just going to smell.
All right.
Because at olfactory, I mean, this sense of smell is everything.
It's part of it. That's why I wanted you to smell the almond as
That
well.
smells delicious, Grayson. I did not touch my nose on that. That's for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thumbs up.
Oh, that's delightful.
It's the right answer on camera.
Jesse Hubbard,
Yeah. There you go.
author of Punk Rock and Cocktails Volume 2, 40 recipes in all. You can have a lot of fun with your friends with this. Where do they go?
StRussellProductions.com. The one stop for all my projects.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, buddy.